Welcome to, you're going to go ahead and do
Yeah,
it?
I guess I'm going to do it. Welcome to the San Antonio
Did we lose him?
FC FanCast.
He's going to turn blue.
I could have gone. Well, but that's what she said. Could have gone longer. Welcome to the podcast. Inappropriate joke to start it. That's how we like to do it. Pretty high off a 3-1 opening day victory. So I'm sure everybody else is pretty happy about that one. And what a night that was last night. That was fantastic, from the crowd to the team. Everything was great about that night. Let's start off. Let's go around the horn. Let's start on first base. Robert, how are you doing? How was the game for you?
I was amazing. Like you said, the experience, my voice is still kind of not 100% there. Like we were talking about, slept most of the day.
Tea, yeah. I got tea going.
I just tried to get everything, but it was top to bottom great.
And Robert, for everyone that didn't see him, was wearing the beef jerky basketball uniform that Jordan Farr did his commercial shoot in. So
yes, absolutely. Yeah, he loved it. He loved it.
That was awesome. You and Jason, that was really cool. Rafa, how are you? How was the game for you?
Pretty good. I enjoyed. Big win to start the season, to get it going. Like Garcia said, F the past. We're ready. We're moving forward.
Yeah.
Some surprises too, like I said, which we'll get into for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah, that was my favorite, probably my favorite thing pregame was the interview of Fabian Garcia, and he's just like, no one gives a shit about last season. It's a new season. Let's go. That's the energy I want to bring into this. Not, we're the champions. We're going to strike. No, nobody cares about last year. Let's do it again. Let's not do it again. It's a new season. We want to win. Let's go. Harry, how are you? How was the game for you? You're on mute.
Hey, starting the season out right. This is why we're supposed to have preseason.
We're in midseason
games. Get the voice in line.
We're in midseason form already. Let's go.
Spring forward. Sleeping all day crap. I'm doing all right here. Just
seriously, did everybody else sleep in today? Good Lord, we slept in like past noon today. We didn't stay out. We came straight home from the game, and I don't know if it was daylight savings just completely threw everything off, but man.
Daylight savings. I've been destroyed by allergies.
Fair. Oak is really bad. I woke up and my entire truck was yellow, and it's not supposed to be yellow.
3 p.m. tailgate.
When you do it to yourself. All right. So let's start this thing off. And our first subject is going to be that we are now hosting the U.S. Open Cup match against Club de Leon from Orlando. We are originally scheduled.
Actually,
go ahead.
It just came out that they're going to be playing in Daytona. Just today, they announced that they changed their home field to Daytona as a field through there. So
I was going to say, did they move the game? Okay, that team moved where they're playing at.
The team moved from Kiss Me Orlando to Daytona. Haven't even played a game and already changed the facility, but that's NISA. So
sure. And you got to find somewhere to play. At the same rate, Daytona's not that far from Orlando, maybe an hour, maybe 2 hours. So it's not that far. I say not that far. According to Texas, 1 or 2 hours driving is not that far. So I'm sure in Florida. Well, no, I mean Florida, it's still like what 5 hours from
here to Austin.
Well, no, I mean Florida.
If you go from Miami up to Georgia, it's like going up, north and south on Texas as well.
It's like 6 or 7 hours. Yeah,
it's like going to El Paso,
and then Pensacola to Orlando was like 6 hours itself. So it's not a small state for sure. So I'm sure they similar thing. The one that blows my mind is to go from Tampa to Orlando is like an hour 20 minutes. That blows my mind. That's across the state. That's insane. Anyway, let's stop talking about Florida because no one cares about Florida. We're a Texas podcast. We're a San Antonio podcast. But San Antonio FC will be hosting the Open Cup match on April 4th. That's a Tuesday against Club de Leon, which is a NISA club. If you are a season ticket member, I'm pretty confident you already have tickets to that. You don't have to worry about purchasing
100%
those. So that's great news, and obviously looking forward to another match. One that's during the week. I'll be there. I don't know if the whole Alvarez. I need to come up with a fun name. The Alvarez clan. That's kind of lame. Anyway, not sure if we're all going to be there, but I'll definitely be there. So, and then our next subject, moving on, is going to be the news that all happened the week leading up to the match, which are going to be player signings. We had a couple of them, and we had transactions as well. Harry, did you have something else?
Hold space on the Open Cup that it went from ESPN Plus, where all games were shown, to Bleacher Report showing less than half of the matches on YouTube. Bleacher Report. So we went from an Open Cup where everybody could see it to an Open Cup for the first 3 rounds. They get 6 for the first round, 8 second round, 8 third round. And then, they haven't the round of 32 and beyond, when it's supposed to be mainly MLS teams there. That's still be determined. And, I have this funny feeling that, oh, hey, we can televise everybody at that point. But so to me, that was a disappointment, because for the Cup magic, that U.S. Soccer likes to exploit, the whole Wrexham effect. U.S. Soccer said no. So, and if you follow Open Cup guys, like it's due to a financial issue. I don't know. I understand U.S. Soccer on its whole is not looking very well. But if you look at the rights, when they sold the rights for the U.S. men's national team and separated it from MLS and all that stuff, just on the U.S. rights, they're getting $25 million, not counting any, Spanish rights or anything along those lines. They were getting $30 million beforehand for all of the rights, including MLS. So, to me, if U.S. Soccer wanted to make it a higher priority, they could. But once again, lower league, they don't want to. So, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's pretty bizarre that the like you said, Harry, that it may not have been you, as somebody said that. I forgot who it was. I would give you the credit, but it's amazing that the organization and the group of people that have complained about the whole Wrexham thing happening are also not going to capitalize on their own Wrexham story. So that's unfortunate. But anyway, moving on. Like I said, April 4th, Tuesday, San Antonio will be playing at Toyota Field. They'll be playing a NISA team. I'm sure plenty of academy kids will get the run out there. We'll get to who those academy kids are here in a little bit. But first, let's talk about all the player transactions that happened last week, which they were pretty frequent. You think Harry would be happy about them, but the first one we're going to talk about is Ja'Cory Hayes coming over from LAFC. Well, he didn't come over from, but that was his last club. He was injured. Apparently, he had a compound fracture against a friendly against Everton, of all teams, last year.
Minnesota United, not LAFC. Minnesota
okay,
United.
So he's playing for Minnesota at that time. I know he also played for LAFC, but he was playing for Minnesota United. Excuse me. He got injured. He's obviously healthy because he, we'll get to it, but he did start in the match and played the entire 90 minutes, and he looked pretty dang good in the midfield. Pretty sure he did. So that was the first. Do you have any graphic or anything you want to pull up on that one, or?
Yeah, I'm working on it.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, there we go. So, there you go. Minnesota United. There's a jersey, which is ironic. I remember hating them whenever the Scorpions play them in NASL, and it's kind of weird to see where they're at and where San Antonio Soccer is. But let's neither here nor there. But Ja'Cory, welcome to the team. Really happy he's a part of it. He's going to, I think he's going to play a really big role on the club, especially if the opening game has any outlook. He's definitely going to, seems like he's going to play a really big role on the team. The second signing that we had, was it this signing where they announced also that Michael Edwards had been
But
it was
that's on this one here.
was it Batista? I think it was Jacori's. It was Jacori's press release where they announced that Michael Edwards had been recalled by Colorado, so he's back with the Rapids. And then Batista was the reactionary signing from Edwards going back to the Colorado Rapids. So we lost our, for now at least, we lost that center back that we thought was going to be in the middle. And the reactionary signing from that is to get Lamar Batista from on a 25-day contract. So his contract is only for 25 days starting, I believe, Thursday.
3 days ago.
Right?
3 days ago.
Yeah. So a lot's happened since then. We'll get into it later. Hang on to your shorts on that one. But pretty disappointing to see Michael Edwards go back to Colorado, especially since he was not on their 18 for this past game that they played, that they lost 1-0 against San Jose. So that's pretty disappointing. But we got Jacori Hayes, midfielder with a lot of MLS experience. He just had a pretty bad injury last season, and he's coming back from that. And he's looking to prove himself and to obviously probably get back into MLS. And then Lamar Batista, he is a very young, up-and-coming 6'6" center back who we'll go into our thoughts on him later after one match. And then the other – go ahead.
Sorry.
Go ahead. No, fire away.
He comes from Oklahoma City, and last year he played with the now on hiatus Rochester, New York, formerly Rochester Rhinos of MLS Next Pro. Which that on a Friday afternoon news dump, MLS released that they will not be returning to MLS Next Plus. So ownership struggled with USL. They brought in the flash of Jamie Vardy and one and done. So. Sucks for the fans of the Rhinos and Rochester soccer. But hopefully, for Mr. Batista, going from Rochester, New York to San Antonio FC, big step up.
You would hope so. And Rochester has, if I'm not mistaken, the very first soccer-specific stadium in the entire United States. So that there is a lot of. You can look that up.
I don't know about that. Charleston, I think owns
one. Rochester, New York has one of the very first soccer-specific stadiums.
No, Charleston, South Carolina. Charleston.
I said one of them. One of them.
Oh, okay.
One of the, not the.
Yeah.
One of the. I am covering myself. I'm doing the Trump where I'm saying something, but I'm not really saying something. So,
verb nor deny.
So yeah, correct. Some people are saying Rochester, New York has the first. Anyway,
alternative facts.
Yeah, we are going way in the weeds, but real quick, I'm going to throw it to you, Rafa. What are your thoughts on the Jacori Hayes signing, Edwards being recalled back, and the Lamar Batista signing? Before the game, before we knew about their performances, how did you feel about the signings the week leading up to the game?
Those are good signings. I mean, just what with the areas I think we were kind of hurting on as far as depth. But typical SAFC, we find players that had that MLS experience. Mine is Batista, but he's got the MLS Next Pro, experience, and we find a way to find hidden jewels, and which we'll get into more into the game. So that's. I mean, you can't kind of question what SAFC's done in the past. They've always find quality players that kind of you can plug them in and go. They'll pick up the slack. Let's look at what happened last year. So those are two good signings. I know might be a couple signings, may see in the future. We'll see what else we can plug into. Kind of like what we talked to John last week about, what else can we add to keep us up top and also defend the championship.
And Robert, how did you feel about those three transactions leading up to the game?
I mean, the transactions were necessary. It's just the situation where we needed some depth. We needed some players in the pinch. They know stuff more internally than we do. So, and considering the result, I mean, if you base it off one game, I mean, they're absolutely their quality. They filled the role. They did amazing things. I mean, you can't complain at this point. There's a little bit of an unknown. I was nervous when they said Next Pro because I was like, well, is he going to transition just so as fluidly as some of the other players we've gotten, but absolutely. I mean, like I said, I was excited about him. With Edwards leaving to Colorado, that was a little disappointing. I was looking forward to see him play with us because, like I said, I was impressed with him when he played, physical. But hopefully, we'll see how it goes. Maybe he might come back because of that 25-day contract clause. We'll see. Or hopefully we get everybody.
Yeah, and
So
I thought it was just real quick, just to add this little bit. One of the things that I felt we were missing from last season, and on the last show when we talked to John Morrissey about it, I thought one of the things we were missing was the midfield cover that Jordy DeLim last season provided.
Yeah.
I think Ja'Cory Hayes is just a Jordy DeLim clone. They look the same playing, they have the same body shape, and they really have very similar playing styles to each other. Ja'Cory is 2 years younger, and I think that's just a stroke of genius from Tim Holt for that signing. They're like, Jordy DeLim, obviously he wants to be a dad, which, I mean, yeah, that's the best job you can have in the world. That's a no-brainer. Find someone who has a similar profile. You find Ja'Cory Hayes out of contract. Boom, boom, boom. Done and done. Perfect signing. Love it.
So on the speculation side here, kind of with Edwards, I talked to Matt Pollard, who runs a Rapids podcast, Holding the High Line, and reports all around great analyst for the Rapids. He made it seem like that there's a possibility that he could be loaned back for that here. There is also John from USL Tactics officially or publicly reported that Jorge Hernandez is signing with San Antonio FC. But we think the reason why he hasn't been announced, and this is pretty common. I know the Roots had players that were out of the lineup that will normally be there, just because they haven't finished clearing through the league and visas and all the paperwork's not done yet. So Jorge Hernandez is a 2021 USL Best 11, formerly with LA Galaxy, went overseas to, I forget the team.
Right, a team in the top flight of the Belgian league. Right, there's no way I'm gonna. It's probably KV or KS something, and I'm not going to be able to pronounce it. So it's kind of like the team that Ethan Bryant went over to. Could never. Jose Gallegos, he's there for 4 years, so I forced myself to learn how to say Sunderjuski. But other than that, yeah, good luck. But yeah, exactly, Harry. From what we've heard, Jorge Hernandez he's a Mexican player, Mexican midfielder, more of a playmaker, kind of an eight, a box to box, which is always useful. And he racked up quite a bit of minutes, especially in the beginning of the Belgian season and leading up to the World Cup. He played for them quite a bit. Hasn't seen as much playing time recently, and it kind of seems like he's going to go out. And I wonder if they're trying to figure out if it's going to be a permanent deal or if it's going to be on loan. So, but once again, these are the rumors. We have heard more than one person confirm this, so we'll see.
And John's tied in pretty well to the league,
for sure.
So if he's putting it out there and putting it in, his season preview,
right?
And also that's better. That's better than me just going, hey, I'm heard it through friends.
Guys, Messi's coming to San Antonio. Yeah, exactly. So, but at the same rate, it's pretty exciting. But as we have seen with the same Junqua, drama episode, announced. Whatever, until it's announced, until you see that jersey on, not official. So it's still speculation at this point.
I said speculation zone.
Correct. And then San Antonio went and really did Harry a solid and signed 8 more people, academy kids.
So a little backstory on that is I was like, man, because this was Thursday afternoon I sent that out, so saying SAFC hasn't even signed any of the academy kids. Normally they do, and well, lo and behold, they signed 8. Jude Bossart, Eduardo Fernandez, Mateo Gonzalez, Roman Holt, and I'm going to chop his name, Kabagula.
Kibukila Imbula, we saw last season. I think he goes by Willow. So
Right,
he goes
Willow.
by Willow Imbula. Yeah.
Giovanni Padilla and Henrik
Padilla.
Sakshug.
Yeah.
And then to me, and I mistyped his, or no, but
Denzel
Ozuna,
Yeah.
Ozuna, who is part of the U.S. Youth National Team U15 team, and the youngest player to sign at 15 years and 5 days.
Yeah, even younger than Leo, even younger than Jose. So that's something. It's something that they obviously see something in the kid. They also I guess that should be, we should have talked about that. So real quick with these signings, we'll also mention that SAFC has 2 kids on the United States Youth National Team system. There's Dalziel Ozuna with the U15s, and we also San Antonio FC Pro Academy also has a player on the U14 U.S. Youth National Team. I'm sure we can find that one, but so we have a couple players. One of them, the U15 Dalziel, he will be on the team on an academy contract. There we go.
Landry Walker.
Landry Walker.
In the US,
there you go.
US 14 mini camp this week in Florida for that here.
Which is great. Obviously, the academy strong, and this is kind of one of those funny things. Is we always question: is the academy still strong? Where do we have? Where are we at with the academy? We've always kind of questioned it. Here's your answer. Well, it's still, it's not as strong as it was, but
because the team up north has rated it, and
rumors of their demise have been greatly exaggerated, as is the famous line. So
I haven't been on that train.
Right, Rafa, from your coaching standpoint, how do you feel about all of these academy signings? I think this is the most academy signings that San Antonio FC has had in their history, and at the same time, most of these kids have already committed to college, and a couple, it seems like they're committing to more of a pro career. So what are your thoughts on all these academy signings for SAFC?
I mean, these are good signings. I mean, one thing about our team is that we know how to develop players, and the proof is, as you see, like Rocky Torres and Gallegos and and so forth. So we have a good system, and we have a good coaching staff too as well that knows how to develop them. Maybe that's why the Broccoli FC is trying to poach our players and stuff. But to me, I think we have a better route to get to Europe, and Gallegos is the proof. So I think these kids they realize, what, I need to stay here. It's much easier than go than MLS Next or something, because all the teams have to kind of vote. Yeah, you can go to Europe. Here, they offer you the contract. There you go. And they said we get the fee in back and so forth. So it looks like I said, some of them already have experience already. Like Roman's got minutes with first team. Same thing with Hendrik. He got a couple goals, in one of the games last year. So, and I'm sure the other kiddos are going to do just as well. And I think we'll look forward to seeing them play. Hopefully, some of them on April the 4th, and see what they can do with some of the first teamers.
Yeah, Giovanni Padilla is a left back. I spoke to him at the season ticket member open practice. He's played left back quite a bit, and he played left back, I believe, against Tulsa in the preseason. So, and I'm pretty confident he played the whole match. So, there's some kids there with a lot of talent that have a lot of proven talent as well. I mean, Jude, I haven't heard a lot more praise than I've heard Jordan Farr talk about Jude, and that he's going to be something when he gets older. Obviously, he's super young. Goalkeepers normally hit their prime around 30, so he's got quite a bit of time to develop on that one. But according to Jordan Farr, pretty big words there. Sky's the limit for that kid. He's really going to be there. Robert, how do you feel about all the signings, the academy signings, as well as the other transactions that happened this previous week? And Robert just lost internet. Wow. Whoops.
You stole his line. I will say normally, and I haven't seen the rules for this year. Normally, you're allowed 5 roster spots that don't count against your main roster for academy. So the fact that they went with 8 for that here means that those 3 of them are taking 3 senior roster spots, which normally is 30. So San Antonio FC has 27 technically roster slots available since they've used 3 of them on the academy. You can sign as many as you want, but they just take a senior roster spot. However, SAFC is currently at 17 on the roster slot, so still 10 more, which I think most times they run.
Okay, I know I'm horrible at counting the roster. Aren't we at 18 with the addition of Batista? Because there was a switch out for Ja'Cory Hayes with Michael Edwards, right. And then we added Lamar Batista. So I'm pretty sure we're at 18.
That's right. Yeah, so
look
18,
at me.
So.
Look at me. Awesome.
And then you have some also players that have committed to university. So by the time late August, September comes around, some are probably going to be like, I don't know, it depends if Roman Holt does go on to like San Diego State University and a couple of the other guys. So
Shaq
I think that's
going to Maryland. Yeah.
And I think that's why we can have a kind of a bit like a big roster there.
You're right, Harry.
You got to check out the lights away kits.
Oh no! Oh no!
They are something.
We're gonna stop down the show to look at the lights jerseys. Oh no! Oh,
hold on here. If you want to continue with I'll pull it up here. I'll show you.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at them. What the heck?
Oh no. Anyway,
they look like something.
Sorry, it caught me.
You're good. You're good. I'm gonna vamp real quick. I'm gonna talk to season ticket members for SAFC. I'm sure you've seen your emails. For those who are not season ticket members yet, there's a pretty exciting gift that's going to be given away later this season. Whenever they do get delivered, all season ticket members are going to get Matt Cardoni bobbleheads. I know that's a big thing that people have been asking for. Once again, just like at this first game, we got schedule magnets. Finally, after a 2-year hiatus, schedule magnets. We're now getting a new bobblehead. It's not just the Rafa Castillo one anymore. We're going to have a Matt Cardoni legend one to go along with it. So pretty excited about that. Hopefully they keep that as a series. I think that would be appreciated.
I got plenty of magnets for Coach Cano because I know he's watching there from El Paso. So I've got the hookup for him. So
there you go. Wow, that's a jersey. Okay. Okay. Party. I'm surprised Elvis isn't on there. All right. No comment. Perfect. That's the perfect Andrew Carlton jersey. Perfect. All right. So
you see why I was like,
I get it.
Whoa.
I get it. Is that a t-shirt or nope? No, it's not. Yeah, it looks like one of those t-shirts you get in one of those Vegas souvenir shops. So
Robert, you back?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
All right.
So Royce was asking you before you decided to bail on us, for it here. Your thoughts on the 8 Academy, and I'd be interested in your thoughts on Jude being a former goalkeeper yourself.
I mean, he showed some promise in the limited time I got to see him. I mean, the big thing about the Academy is the things that come to mind is exposure for the club. I mean, it's nothing but good news, especially with the kids playing in the U.S. system like that. I mean, it adds depth too and gives them some experience. I mean, it's nothing but positive for them as well. And especially with such a long grinding season in Open Cup, in addition to, I mean, it's just perfect fit to get them in there, get exposure once again. And, it helps them and us. It helps them with their careers, whatever they decide to do, whether it's, college coaching or pro level. Like I said, it's nothing but positive. And being that Jordan gave a positive, feedback on Jude. I mean, that just, he knows what he's talking about. So.
Absolutely. Okay. So now we're going to move on into kind of the Saturday. Saturday, there was a whirlwind of news, as well as obviously we're going to go over the match. So the first thing that we want to
with the injury report or the banners. Which
banner.
One you want to do first?
We'll go positive first. So let's talk about the banners that were shown. the 3 championship banners, the Players Shield, the obviously the USL Championship, and those are the Western Conference champions.
So
one in the
yeah,
middle.
the first one here is the USL champions, middle Western Conference champions, and then the Players Shield
For best overall
so not
record.
Supporters Shield, but Players Shield.
Right.
For there here, and this photo is courteous of San Antonio FC and their Twitter account. Along those lines, just to give them proper credit, for the picture. They have that one, and then they have the straight on shot there from when they hung it. So, for me personally, like I said, I would have liked for this year to had them bigger, and then have these kind of used as 2023 when we add more to it, so that way you could kind of consolidate them. But where you've got the 7 or 8 different things there, you could have had a bigger one and each one separately in the area. But
I think there's 2
that's
things.
just me nitpicking. So.
Yeah, that's correct. I think they're a good size. It's definitely not New York City size at all. Those are a decent. You can read those from anywhere in the stadium. I think it's a good size. I think they wanted to avoid any vision conflicts with the suites, obviously. And they are also planning on adding many more. So
yes,
I
that's
think
exactly
I think that is kind of the point of having them that size with that the rack that they have there. They could just repeat that.
Yeah.
I don't know, 10, 12 more times, which they should be able to do in the next 10 or 12 more years. So looking forward to that. So we'll move and also shout out to the Crocketeers and 2-0 Alliance and FTC the San Antonio for the tifo that they had with the throne. Looked really cool. I thought it was perfectly fitting. We're the kings of Texas. We're the kings of USL. That's our throne, and we sit on it proudly. But once again, like Fabian Garcia said, we had fun last season. Nobody cares about it anymore. It's a new season. We're getting on.
Nobody cares about that shit anymore.
That was direct quote. Nobody gives about that shit anymore. So, we'll start off this season like in the perfect San Antonio FC way that we can. Injury report, because of course there's injuries to start the season. We had Carter Manley out with I believe a lower body injury.
Yes.
And we had Juan Carlos
Azocar, personal reasons out. So hopefully everything's okay with him. Personal reasons can be a lot of things. I'm glad it's not health, but at the same time, not ideal. But hopefully he'll be back for the match at Loudoun coming up on Sunday. The other injury that we did see after the match had started, when we saw the starting lineup, we did see that Christian Parano apparently went down in warm-ups, and they caught footage of it. The ESPN Plus and the USL broadcast caught. And also the game was on Bally Sports, so we got to say Bally Sports Southwest. If you look just to the left of the coach right there, kicking the ball to Jordan, you'll see Parano. It looks like he takes a knee to his knee, so it looks like a little knee-to-knee action, and a little bump, but he goes down in a heap after that contact right there. You'll see him. He's falling to the left. See him lifting his leg up already.
Yeah. So hopefully he got a knee to a thigh, perhaps, maybe a bone bruise. Hopefully he didn't twist his knee, but we've yet to hear anything on that. The only thing that we do know is that he was a late scratch and that David Loera filled in for him. But that's pretty much how they set up right there in the typical Marcina 5-3-2. You had David Loera take over for Parano. So in the back, you had Jordan Farr start. The middle center back was Fabian Garcia. To his left was Lamar Batista. To his right was Mitchell Tainer. The right back,
which is big, because Tainer's historically has been on the left side.
On the left, right. And I think that was out of necessity, just because that's where Manley normally is. You normally have Garcia Garcia in the center, Manley outright, and then
And
Chain
if
Tour on
Edwards
the
would have
left.
been here, Tanner would have stayed over there because Edwards was more on the
Was
more on the right hand side.
more on the
as well.
right or in the center. Right.
Right.
And then the right wing back was Connor Maloney. The left wing back was Shannon Gomez. And then in the middle was Ja'Cory Hayes. And then out to the left was PC. Out to the right on the midfield was David Loera, not Parano in this case, because obviously with Parano going down in warmups. And then ahead of them, you had Nacho Bailone. I mean, Nacho Bailone came in later. Excuse me. They had Nico
Hanson and
Hansen. Thank
JD.
you. Good Lord. What?
It's week 1. We're still learning.
Midweek.
It's not like
mid-season
SAFC gave us a game to be able to go see and test out.
So the forward pairing were Justin Dillon, JD, and you had Nico Hansen as well. And out of possession, it was more of a 3-4-3 out of possession, because in the press you did have Loera go up a lot to the right. You had Nico in the middle, and you had Dillon out to the left, and they really compacted themselves. And it was more of like a 5-4-1 in the press, because Dillon and Loera would come back, and you'd have Nico kind of stay up front by himself. And then in possession, it was more of this typical 5-3-2 that we see. So that was the start to the match. And Harry, if you want to, before we do that, Rafa, how do you feel about this lineup? Do you think this was the strongest lineup that we would have? Did you expect this for the starting lineup? How did you feel about it?
Well, I guess I think what changed everything was Parano going down. But I think this is what you were going to see. This is just a typical Marcino lineup. And I mean, if you look at the bench, you're like, oh, we don't have that many on the bench, especially with. So that might be something it's probably going to have to be addressed. But, he had to plug in a couple. My concern was like the new players, how they were going to adapt, playing with the other guys, especially like Bautista, signed just 2 days and you're plugging him in already in the starting lineup. You're putting a lot of trust in him. So, but like I said, when you're playing with Mitch Tanner and Garcia, you got somebody that can kind of guide you through and so forth and give you support. So it was a mix of experience with some of the new guys, but I expected what we normally play every game, especially since last season.
Harry, how did you feel about this lineup, and do you think it's our strongest lineup?
Well, I don't think it's the strongest because Juan Carlos isn't in it. He's a 10-goal scorer. My question to you guys is, where does he play? Does he play where Maloney fills in for Hayes, or where do you see them fitting? Because I think this is the formation. The question is where do you put Juan Carlos?
It's a good question. Maybe we'll see on Sunday. Robert, how do you feel about this lineup, and do you think this is our strongest lineup?
It was reminiscent almost of last year, like when players go down, Marcino just finds a way to plug them in. Like at first, you're kind of nervous with the newness of some of the players, but like it worked. I mean, they gelled, they played together, and then the results showed itself. And I mean, the disappointments really, overall was just like Parano going down. Actually, we were talking about it. We saw him go down, and then we saw the trainers attending to him, like literally while it was happening. But he looked like he got up, and we're like, oh, he's going to play still, we thought. But then all of a sudden he got scratched. So it's kind of interesting. And, I want to see those two guys in the lineup all together, because the offensive firepower that they can produce and, the number of opportunities will, just get better. So, bottom line, there's always room for improvement, and plugging those players in gosh, I can't wait to see that in full bloom when everyone's healthy.
So where I think you're asking Harry, I had a moment to think about it. Where I think that Juan Carlos Osocar is gonna play. I think out of necessity, with Abu not being 100%, and where I think and Ja'Cory kind of coming off of that injury, I'm not sure if Ja'Cory is going to play the entire time. I think Maloney is most likely going to be where PC started. I think PC is going to be more of the middle, I think you're going to have Parano / Loera be up to the right. You're going to have that means you're going to have Shannon to be the right wing back, and I think you're going to have Juan Carlos Osocar as a left wing back. I think that's what you're going to see. So Maloney's going to more slot into the midfield instead of being on the wing. And so I think he's going to be more of a midfielder, and I think you're going to have Shannon and Juan Carlos kind of wreak havoc on the wing. So I think that's where you'll see him. So if you want to tee up the highlight package, so we'll
I got it here.
Yeah, we'll fire away on those.
Now in his 4th year guiding the club with a record of 48.
Of course, this is courteous of USL Championship, YouTube, Valley Sports, and SAFC.
And ESPN Plus.
DC with the service to the back. Saved. Hit away there by Blanchett with the first good test of the year for San Antonio. Clementa attacked Justin Dillon here, and instead at the feet of Nico Hansen. Hansen with the run to the corner to the box. Hansen turned to his run. Puts it in.
So pause it real quick. So real quick to go over that to see what happened. The SAFC press in the midfield got to Oakland. They lost possession and went right to Batista. Batista with the through ball right to Nico. Nico made the run and just made everybody look like they were standing still. So right there, the press happens. Ball comes right to Batista. Batista passes it right to Nico. Nico goes in and he does what Nico Hansen does. And just, I mean, yeah. And that's a brilliant run. That's a brilliant run right there by David Loera to distract the center backs, to pull them away. And that's what created the space. But man, that was just, he was running by everybody with the ball on his feet and just made everybody look like they were standing still. So that was really impressive.
That was like
Robert
a Vinny Jr.
Okay, with the Real Madrid.
No, as far as like how he cut in, I mean that's what it is exactly what Nico does.
As much as I hate,
if you watch his videos with Nico, he's, it's similar to what Vinny Jr. does. Kind of, you see how he presses those 3 defenders there. He's got space. He could literally give a pass right there for a goal, but he decided, you know what? I say the goalkeeper's position, I can beat him there on the near post, and that's similar to what he does, and I think that's going to be great for us. Playing the ball to the outside and him allowing him to come back in. It's going to create a lot of goals for him this coming season like that.
As much as I hate to admit it, it is a very, very Vinicius Jr. goal. That's completely agree there.
As far as goal position, from the goalie, obviously, David Loera's run kind of pushes him there, and then I forget who that individual is. PC all the way up there.
Yeah.
Is that why the near post was open so much? Because he had to cheat to the other side because of the passing lanes to PC for the tap in?
Like I said, he seems well positioned. I just think it caught him slightly flat footed because he's expecting maybe the pass, so maybe anticipating kind of covering that runner. And then all of a sudden, because if you look at the shot, it's not like a lot of pace, but it's just perfectly placed. So it almost caught him like maybe leaning or anticipating, and then boom, it's just on you too quick.
Yeah, I think he was anticipating that far post curler. I think that he was anticipating. And Paul Blanchett early in the season anticipating a lot of things that got by him. So.
And he wasn't cramping. I was surprised.
Very surprised. Not holding the knee.
Yeah.
Amazing how healthy he looked.
Yeah.
If you see right there on that run by Loera, he's pulling 2 defenders right there, and that's what he needs to do. Or even Parano, what's going to garner that attention, because you see how they kind of look, and boom, yeah. So we need to see more of that, and I think we can really do some damage this year with those type of plays.
And
then,
all right,
yeah,
so
we're going to talk about the silliest. So if Nico's debut wasn't great and perfect, we're going to talk about the silliest SAFC debut of all time that we saw on Saturday last night.
Yeah.
Good night. Let's continue. Harry, take it away.
Number 1, I was in the bunker, so this happens normally in front of my seat, but I decided, hey, let me go around, see everybody. So I was actually in the bunker with Robert and Matt, and I was talking with Steve and Danielle at this point here. So I saw the goal, but let me just tell you, I didn't understand how great of a goal it was until I got home. And number one,
my wife
Memphis versus Memphis.
Yeah, exactly. My wife took a video, and my jaw's on the ground. My kids are surprised at what happened. All we saw the two center backs, and we saw a foot. We just saw a foot go between them. That's all we saw was a foot, and then the ball go to the net. So, and I was like, did that just happen? And I looked at the replay. I was like, holy crap, that just happened.
The outswinger here.
Unbelievable.
He said it's headed.
It pays to be 6'6".
No kidding. No kidding.
It's time for the opening half.
You have to look at this again. The ball comes in. He gets a tip on it.
And if you look at it, it looked like a header. Well, for where I was at, it looked like a header, but then
from the other side of the field, we all thought it was. We thought it didn't. Until I got into social media and saw the video, I was like, "Oh, that wasn't a header."
PC.
That's awesome.
Even the announcer Daniel Weiss even thought it was a header because he said headed in, and then was it Katie Goodman that was on the other call?
Yeah,
she was on the
friend of the pod, Katie Goodman. Like I said here, congratulations to her for her first call. Hopefully, she more maybe all season SAFC. I wouldn't object to that.
Absolutely.
No, she did a good job. Real good job.
I don't know if anybody noticed. I didn't know Memphis was playing Memphis.
We just talked about that right now. Memphis against Memphis. Memphis on Memphis crime here. But
the outswinger.
What I think so there's two things to talk about here. Lamar's very, very fortunate that he did not miss the ball, kick an Oakland defender in the face, because if he would have, that would have been a second yellow. He would have been out. Fine margins on that one. He got the ball, it went in the net. The second thing to talk about, I think he's being shoved over. He's getting pushed in the back, and I think that's why he thought, I might as well try the overhead because I'm already on my way down. Put his foot up, made contact. Hey, it's in. What do you know?
Yeah. It's like they were jockeying for position.
And Paul Blanchett with the hands on the hips, always a great sign.
Oh, the 1,000-yard stare of, did that just happen?
He hates coming to San Antonio.
He indeed hates it.
I didn't realize he's never been on the winning side against us. He's like 4-2 or something.
Yeah, that checks out. And also, I want to say, I mean, just showing the crowd picture there, what a crowd we had at the opening match.
Over 8,100.
Nearly 8,200, a sellout. A very lively crowd,
Standing
a very
room
energetic
only.
crowd. Yeah, standing room only. And you could tell the players really fed off of that. San Antonio really had a press from the first minute until the last minute. They were pressing early and often, Oakland, and they succumbed to that press many times. They didn't have a lot of chances. It's kind of what I thought was going to happen. San Antonio did not have most of the possession, but they had most of the chances. And it was because of the press really got to Oakland that they weren't able to create really anything with the ball. So it was kind of a prototypical Alan Marcina SAFC game.
So since you mentioned the crowd here, before we get back into the video here, do you want to give kudos to SAFC security, SAFC concessions? Jose, I talked to him at the game as my trip around. I thought they did a wonderful job. I thought SAFC was smart by having the season ticket member pick up your cups at the tailgate in the adjacent area there, where you could go to the tailgate, pick up your cups. And if you're cool like me and Rafa, you got your names on them. If you're not cool like Royce, you didn't get your name on it. But I just had to toss that in. So, and Chris, our buddy Chris,
unnecessary.
So, lesson learned for people: if you do the payment plan, you get the cups. But if you pay by a certain point, you get the added personalization. We'll just say. But the cups are great. I know you touched on the scarf and the bobblehead coming. The kits, the $65. I'm still kind of up and up. I kind of like the free T-shirt, but getting the kit at a discount. If you took advantage of it.
It's
about a half price. So in the end, San Antonio FC paid more to get the jersey discount than they did actually buy the shirts for everyone, and they're a better quality shirt. To be honest, I mean, it's a jersey. It's a really nice jersey. The previous athletic tops they would give were that, supposed moisture wicking material that would just smell. Yeah, it would just smell if you actually got sweaty in it. So, I think I like the program. I think it would be better if they were to explain the program a little bit better. That, hey, in lieu of athletic tops, this is what we're doing. Here's your discount. Maybe provide a slightly better discount. Whatever. We'll talk about that later. But let's continue with the highlights in the game. It's unbelievable. That's not even. Was that his best goal though?
Here. This ball slipped beautifully in. Save from Jordan.
Jordan being Jordan.
As he steps for Villa.
He had a couple of big stops.
He did.
He had a couple of big stops.
Maybe
that was the biggest one.
calm the nerves a little bit.
And
more.
this
He
is
might have
pause
been
real
able to
quick.
sneak it in that lower 90, but
So this is where I think. This is where I think Lamar Batista didn't have as good of a match as his two goals would lead you to believe he had. I think he got caught out of position quite a bit.
Too far up, right?
He's way too far up. He's next to PC and he's next to Jacori there. He's way too far up. He got pinched in. He was caught out of position a lot.
He's supposed to be over here,
That's
right?
correct. That's correct. And that's kind of what leads to that hole, is that you have Maloney and Taintor trying to cover that space. The player runs there, and that's kind of where Batista's supposed to be. That's where Fabian's supposed to be, but Fabian's trying to cover for Batista.
Garcia is supposed.
No, Garcia's supposed to be in the middle. Garcia's in the middle, so that would be where he's supposed to be. But he's covering right. He's covering this player that's out here because that's where
guy right here.
Right, exactly, because Batista's supposed to be out there. So,
but Maloney there also needs to kind of cut him off there. You see, kind of backed off there. He needs to kind of push him in off that run. That way, he doesn't have to be able to turn and shoot.
He's also.
You're talking about way up here, right at the beginning.
There's just
like right there.
There's too much space. There's too much space because you have a player missing in that back line, and that player missing in the back line is Batista. So, and this happened quite a few times. He got caught out of position quite a bit. I do know on FOTMob, they gave Batista a 9.4 out of 10 rating, but he got caught out of position a lot. And I'm sure they'll go over the game film. I'm sure they'll explain the system a lot more. Heck, he was signed on Thursday. Yeah, he's been there 2 or 3 days. So there's a lot to learn, and he did not have as impressive of a defensive performance as a lot of people may have thought he did. At the same time, he was effective. He did what he needed to do. Was he had a boatload of clearances, heading the ball out. He was always first to header. He would kick the ball out. He did a lot of very important work. He got a silly yellow card, but hey, isn't that the most SAFC thing ever, is to get a silly yellow card?
He wanted to win the contest.
It almost cost him though.
It did.
And
And
that's the foul there, and then there was one late in the second half where if he wasn't on a card, he might have got a card.
He would have probably seen a yellow there. Yeah, absolutely. But he was caught out of position a lot. His positional discipline wasn't all that great. He was caught up a lot trying to cut stuff off that he really didn't need to be there for, because you had Jacori and you had PC covering. So there's a lot of issues there. And this one, I think he's out of position. He's too far forward. He's not back enough. Obviously, he gets back there. But I think he needs to be a little bit closer to the middle. But once again, that's just going to be a growing pain there. At the same rate, you have Jordan Farr behind you, you're probably fine.
Footsteps of Maloney.
Is this the madness? I believe this is the madness. Yep.
To Blanchett.
No, I think this is the.
And Rizzo.
Oh no,
Nice
this
little
is
turn.
this is their.
This time gets
This
a
is a
pass.
chance
Gomez now
in the
running
second half,
against Batista. Cuts it to the inside. Mafeka top the box and punched aside again by Jordan Farr.
Yeah, and this is once again Batista getting caught up. I mean, he's way too far out.
There.
He's way too far up. Yep, he needs to be a lot closer. At the same rate, Shannon kind of got caught up, And so he's trying to cover for Shannon. So that's kind of understandable. But once again, that leads Fabian to being out of position because he's trying to cover. So you have a player that's open right
Shannon
here
came
that's going
back.
to end up
He's
taking the
coming
shot.
back.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Correct. And that's because they were out of position, which it's going to happen. That's why goals happen. That's why you have to keep your position. You need to be disciplined in that. But once again, you have Jordan Farr behind you, and that kind of worked out.
Here's the actual goal.
Yeah.
So he's still.
He has all the time in the world to cross, which he didn't. Maloney almost saved that. That sound of that ball coming off of Maloney's head was disturbing. That was very loud. And he almost saved it, which is the crazy part. But
Corey Hayes.
But once again,
Here now by Mafeka.
Once again, you have Batista come out way too far. Yep. He came out really far, which meant Shannon couldn't go out wide. Shannon needs to block off that crossing coming in, and nobody was blocking on the back post either. So, and once again, I think that's because Batista's out.
Excuse me,
Since
that ball
he's
was going
out,
to go into the net regardless.
Everybody has to shift over.
Right, everybody has to shift over,
There.
including Maloney.
See, he
Maloney
was
can't cover
trying
that
to
shot.
save
And
Jordan
so
Farr.
I think that's the issue right there.
Yellen
And I
settling
think
at
this
his
is
feet.
73rd minute.
This
Yeah, this is the
goal,
madness.
yeah.
This is the madness. This is just silly.
Clicked on by
This is just
Nacho
silly.
Maloney.
My bad.
Got
That's what he did. My bad.
Ah.
Yeah, like I had to watch it about 5 times to see if you meant it or not. I was like, nah.
So the reason he said my bad, and he explained this post game, the reason he has the my bad face is because without thinking about taking the shot, he took the shot. But
Great way to
PC's
catch
yelling
the
at him
keeper
right
off
there,
guard.
hold,
Like, hand up, my bad.
hold,
Nope,
because he wants him to
instead, it
hold
had the perfect
position,
spin
or
on
hold
it, bounces
possession.
right into the goal.
PC yelled at
Well
him to
done,
hold
Batista.
possession.
What a show.
Instead, he does that.
So he did mean it. Yeah. Okay. I wasn't sure if he meant it or not. I was like,
He
Oh,
meant to
he
shoot.
did.
He
Get
meant
to
to
it.
shoot, but
okay.
after he shot, he
We'd have
realized
trouble
that PC
sleeping
was
tonight, I
telling
think.
him,
Lance should
"Hey,
sneak another one
hold
in
the ball.
for
We need to
Oakland,
hold
but it's going
possession."
to come down to that
And instead
mentality
that
of
happened.
forgetting
That's
what
just
happened.
madness.
So
That's
the
just
only
madness.
other goal that I remember being out that distance is Scorpions.
Zurab Titsaritske.
Correct.
Yep, Georgian legend.
From that same, I'm almost
Just about the
positive
same
it's from
spot.
that same
It's
spot.
just about the same spot. That's the insane part. It's just about the same spot.
clicked on by Nacho
Yeah.
Maloney.
That's one I'll never forget. Yeah, the Zurab Titsaritske, and then now we
Batista.
have Lamar Batista, two Toyota Field legends.
Blanchard. Poor Paul.
And check.
Oh man,
That's
I mean, what are you gonna say?
Batista. Bring
Unbelievable.
the center of the court. It's San Antonio FC. That's the newest
It's
goal.
all pissed. He's like, man,
Nightmares.
nothing I can do.
Nightmares. He has nightmares.
There's
about
nothing you
Toyota
can
Field.
do as a goalie on that, right?
Yes, it's be back.
yeah.
Stay in your net.
Well, he's cheating out to like get the the runner like a free ball. So you're kind of almost like Neuer, like a little sweeper keeper trying to be up a little bit, and he just got caught off guard.
To keep her off guard. Look,
I
hand
think
up,
he was
my bad.
anticipating the
Nope,
ball to
instead, it
fall
had
in
the
that
perfect
space.
Yeah, it skipped on him
And-
too. Like you could tell he misjudged the skip.
spin on it, bounces right into the goal.
Yeah, it's
Well done, Batista. What a showing.
it's a sin to let a ball bounce in the box no matter
Got
what,
that
and
spin on the
there
Oh,
ball.
he missed
paid
on
for
the
letting
swing
it bounce.
too. So.
Yeah, he misjudged the skip.
Gonna have
He
trouble
let it
sleeping
hit. and
tonight, I
thought he
think.
could get it,
Lynch
and
should
it-
sneak
it
another
hit-
one
it went
in
on
for
quicker than he
Oakland,
could
but it's going to come down to
react.
that mentality of forgetting what happened. And
Yeah, Dylan didn't
Even if
get
they
it.
had gotten another one, I'm not sure whether Justin Dillon was going to allow if that one slipped past Blanchette.
And then Jordan
That was an
literally
odd
wasted.
ending.
Jordan literally wasted a minute because
San Antonio
he put it like he
Well,
was
the ref
gonna.
played a part in it too, because the guy wanted to go up, and he's like, he looked at the ref,
No,
and the
what-
ref was all like,
What happened? What happened was Jordan Farr did a very smart thing to waste that minute. He put the ball right on. He let the ball go and stopped it right on the goal kick spot. So he stopped, and when he stopped, all of the other players, the Oakland players, looked at him and they were like, "Are you going to make him kick the goal kick?" And the ref's like, "It's not a goal kick. You need to go put pressure on him." And that's what happened. That's why that happened. Was it was a very smart thing from Jordan Farr to be like, "I'm just going to leave this ball here," and he literally wasted the last 45 seconds doing that. The player finally came up. He picked it up. The ref looked at his watch. He's like, well, hell, it's already been 7 minutes. I got to blow the
We're
whistle.
good.
We're done.
Yeah.
So, so just to go over the tallies real quick. Nico's goal was assisted by Lamar Batista. Batista's overhead goal was assisted by PC. And then you had a Lamar Batista unassisted. So PC with a point, Nico with a goal and a point. And Lamar Batista, the legend of Lamar Batista, signed 3 days ago to a 25-day contract, 3 points, 2 goals, and an assist in his first match as a center back. Insane debut. Just the stuff.
Yeah.
I have no words. Robert.
As a center
Read
back,
it.
I mean, it's like even more shocking. It's like what? Like, like you said, and it kind of maybe covered up some of his, defensive lapses. But I mean, like you said, legend. I mean, we're gonna remember this for a while. They're gonna keep bringing it up. It's awesome.
I still remember. Was it 2013 Zurab or was it 2015? Either way, I'm never gonna forget a name like Zurab scoring from beyond half field. I'm never gonna forget Lamar Batista scoring from beyond half field. Unbelievable.
I got 2 questions for you guys. Number 1, San Antonio FC has to sign Batista now, right? You would think.
Of course.
And number 2, and here's probably the bigger question: if, depending on the agreement between the Rapids, in regards to Edward, do you roll with Batista, or do you still bring Edwards back in, who probably fits the system a little bit better, but may not, obviously Batista's a fan favorite, and as you guys have said, will go down as one of the most memorable moments of this year.
Yeah, I think you sign him. It's added. Like I say, you just found a diamond in the rough, And what's good that has is that have depth, because, like I said, you have Manley out right now.
Yeah.
And if Manley wasn't out, Manley probably would have started there. So he's good. He's young. He's added depth. Even though, let's say we do get our player back, he still has time. He'll have time to learn the system. We can plug him in on certain games or so forth. Because last year we had a bunch of injuries.
Yeah.
But look, what helped us is having depth on the squad, and I think that's what they need to start kind of adding a little bit more of those pieces, and we'll be fine. So, but yeah, you need to sign him. You definitely need to sign him.
And he might be a matchup specific player because of his height. Like if you got a team that's real big on crossing, because he actually was pretty physical. To give him positives on it, I mean, I saw a couple of times when he was mixing it up, got the foolish yellow, but he wasn't afraid to mix it up. When I saw his wiry frame, I wasn't sure. I was like, how's this guy going to play? Because I'm used to the tall guys with that type of frame play a little more finesse. But no, he was definitely physical, and he was good in the
speed.
air. So, yeah, speed. So, and he's young.
Hustles.
He seemed like he had the right attitude, too. That's the key. Marcina's going to look for you to have that skill, but also have the attitude to buy in. And like you said, that's all you can ask for. I mean, and depth, like later on down the line, maybe matchup, stuff like that. But I'm excited about it. And then Edwards, you can bring him in. I mean, he seemed a little bit similar, just maybe not as tall. But I remember him the few times we played him, and we all know about the Patino thing, but he wasn't afraid to mix it up, and he was physical, he was athletic. So, like I said, he's going to fit in too if ultimately he ever comes back.
Yeah, I definitely think that if everyone's healthy, obviously you bring in Michael Edwards. That's a no-brainer to have him on your squad. I think if everyone's healthy, I think the starting 3 are going to be Manley, Garcia, and Taintor. And then I think after that, your backups for each position we'll see what happens. Once again, we don't have anything confirmed, but Batista, Edwards, and Holt are going to be the backups to those 3. And I would not have said this last week, but after watching that team, I feel all right with that, especially with Holt developing. Holt is a different player from what we saw last season. Obviously,
Yes.
The coaches saw something. Watching him play and watching his physicality, he's a different player. So, and that's another big thing. USL is a development league. I mean, let's not get around that. It still is a development league, and it's the league that kids want to go to develop before they go off to Europe. A lot of kids, that's why they stay in USL. Obviously, the Winder brothers, Josh, I believe, is going to go to, looks like the leading club is Benfica for a multi-million-dollar contract. So this is
1.5 rumored, yeah.
right. So this is the league that those kids want to be in, to take off their career, to whether they want to go to MLS like Leo did or whether they want to go overseas. This is the league to do that.
So the numbers, just looking at the stats here, and to me, if you go to a Sofa Score, they have everything real handy where you can have the roster. You can click on the person's name, get their detailed information along those lines. So, real good resource here. And I love that you can have the shots here for it here, and you can see left-footed goal, high left from there. But possession, Oakland 67, 33 to for SAFC. However, SAFC still outshot them. 12 with 7 on shot, only 1 off target, 4 block shots. Oakland had 4 yellow cards. We had 1 player, 1 coach. Oakland had 2 big chances. They missed 1, converted 1. Shots inside the box, 7-5. 6 saves, 4 far. Rafa, hide your eyes. 48% passing with 83% accurate passing for that here. So 21 interception, 21 clearances, 16-12 here. So
there was a lot of kickball last night, but what do you expect?
Well, 40% is on the high side, isn't it?
16 out of 61 at 26%. So, but 48%, and like I said, here in the first half, it was 48. Second half, so yeah, at least they're consistent. 47. But yeah, it just, to me, I know that was one of the things that, and Oakland's a good team. Oakland, just like San Antonio, and most teams are still getting the thing here. Jason Garcia, yes, I need more scarves. So all looks a little better.
I can see I can see some blinds back there. Step your game up. Real quick, to kind of finish it out, we did have 3 subs in the game. Camarney came on late. Camarney Smith came on late. Nacho Bailone came in for. I know Nacho came in for Nico. Or no, Nico stayed on. Nacho came in for Loera.
46 minutes, so right at half.
Right. Camarney Smith came in for Nico, and then Abu came on for
Dylan due to an injury.
Dylan,
right?
Due to the cramps.
Yeah. Dylan just exactly. It just looked like I don't think he had a strain. I think he just had cramps. So,
your thoughts on Camarney for Hansen? I know you only got 20 some minutes, or 15 minutes, pardon me, plus stoppage time here. Your thoughts on him? To me, there's a clear difference between Hansen and Smith. I think that's clear.
I'll respond to this, and I'll throw it off to Rafa and Robert. But real quick, it was a different game by then. I think we had already shut it down. I think we were trying to look for more possession than to try to be attacking. Camarney, I think he was more tasked to really hold up the ball. I think he did all right in that role. When he attacked, he looked good. He got taken off the ball a lot because he didn't have a lot of support going with him. So I think it was more of a job that was kind of unsung, not really playing hero ball, more playing the system, see out the game kind of thing. So I don't think we've really seen Camarney Smith's potential. Rafa, how do you feel about that?
I think he's fast like a deer. He had some speed, and if you saw some of the breakaways, if some situations, if we give him the right pass, because there were some passes given to him, he was able to kind of settle them to really kind of take shots. But I think he's the type of forward that can break one, do those breakaways from those 1v1s from a long pass and beat the keeper. So I think he changes up the game from, Dylan's more of the possession type of forward plays from this back, turn and play from the back and turn. He's more of a straightforward, like, hey, send the ball to space, run under the ball and score. So it's a good thing to have. I'm sure, like I said, he's going to learn from the other guys, especially like with Baloney and Dylan and even Nico too. So, but I still think we can add another one. Maybe I think we do need a poacher. Maybe that's in the works. We'll see. But I think he did great. For his debut, he did what he had to do, and so I think a little nerves going into that game.
Yeah, I kind of echo a lot of your sentiments. Like he's, I'd give him a grade of like incomplete because he came on so late. It's a limited sample size of what he can and can't do. But I did notice the speed because I watched it back, and like Royce was saying, like he was just there to like pressure, and then try to keep them more so on their side. And then there was just a lot of ball chasing. Like they were literally dumping it, and then the poor kid was just running and running. You could tell he was a little bit small. He got muscled off a little bit on some of them, but you could see the speed right away. That was the one thing that caught my eye instantly. And like I said, maybe with more time, maybe with a larger sample size, we'll see what he can do. So yeah, it's promising. I look forward to seeing him in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I said, just a real thankless job from Komarny, but at the same time, a very vital role there to see out the game at the end. And now, 3 points, 1-0. We can look over the rest of the league. Kind of the results from the rest of the league, kind of going around the horn. Some very surprising results. We could start kind of on who we're looking against
this evening. We'll have that in just a moment.
So
Okay.
I want to do the first couple of goals here for Loudoun because that's who we play
Okay.
next.
I agree.
Just to
Kinda
see if
looking
we
forward.
see anything in Memphis. So take that with a grain of salt here because I don't think Memphis is going to be very good. But
Didn't Memphis also have a red card in this
Loudoun
match?
but it's after here. So Loudoun gets 2 goals early.
There's a through ball headed down. Will Roman get to it? No, he won't. That's a goal.
That's the worst header.
And the flag
That was bad.
goes.
That was bad when it went in. But
We're joining
Yeah.
Tim Van Horn and Peter
Kinda whiffed.
Edmiston. Here's a ball that slid to the right side.
That
1-2
was nice.
work on far.
Does
There's
Loud-
That's a
a
good
shot.
play.
Does Memphis have a midfield?
True Roman
That was
goes
cheeky.
with
That was
offside
nice.
on this one as Thomas Williamson goes low and drives it home
Wow,
in
2
the
goals
8th minute
in
to get
8
Loudoun
minutes.
United
Wow.
the
And
1-0
over here's another
lead.
one
Well
real quick after
worked.
this too.
If you look at the interplay here, absolutely phenomenal goal. It's a
And that would be on
Wow.
Bautista's side too. So just
So those defenders got bit.
the same about this 901. Sometimes it's you prepare to execute your offense, but sometimes you can't execute everything if you don't know your opponent. Here's a shot deflected, and that's into the back of the net.
Good
That's
Lord.
something you can't plan for.
No
A shot
midfield, no
off
back
of
line.
Graham
Wow.
Smith, and that goes into the net. And just like that, Memphis 901 FC now trailing
And then there
2.
John
was a
at,
red card
card
here.
for simulation, and rightly so.
Yeah.
And a red card for Kissia.
John at USL Tactics, your Memphis prediction, not looking great.
A yellow card for simulation, and rightly so.
Yeah.
And a red card for Kissia, though.
What?
Yeah, because again, the hand to the face, even if it's not a smack, you cannot do that. Handled perfectly.
Well, this is the
Yeah, he got him in the neck, shoulder.
he got a red card
That's
for
in the
that.
eyes.
He didn't get
Well,
it
it's
in the
a
eyes. I don't know
yellow.
what that situation is.
Yeah,
That
he-
is-
The dude's rubbing his head right there.
He's just playfully kind of
No, he's
whatever.
just,
He's- he's-
trying to
he
push
pops
his
him in
arm
the
off
looks
and he
like the
whiffed.
collarbone.
And he
if
smacked,
anything.
but that guy had a delayed
The
reaction.
point is, though, Tim,
Here's Luis
Yeah,
Fernando at the
that's
top of the box,
poor
looking for-
on the ref there. That's
Yeah,
pretty poor because,
And-
I mean, if a dude's going to do that and then that's poor.
Maybe
That's
he missed
pretty
that
poor.
first part of it too. It's hard to
I
say.
think that's a double yellow. Stop. I don't think that's a straight red for just one player.
And,
I think
and
that's
I will
pretty bad.
say this: the forward that got the yellow card is also the player that's upset because Memphis 901 would not let him go to overseas or MLS that he had offers for as well. So, just all of that plays into that into that. But yeah, it's, to me, like I said here, for Loudoun, we played them last year at Toyota Field. They had the young player from DC United that was 15, I think we were talking to, Rafa? Youth national team player as well. While he was warming up. SAFC goes out there. All the girls were, geez. But we go out there, play 3:00 on Sunday. Loudoun is an independent team. Kind of still feels a little bit like RGV the first year, where there's still some ties with DC United, just because the sell happened so late. But I think Loudoun will be a better team. It'll be their home opener. I'm going to try to see if later on in the week, if I can get together, because they do have a podcast that's out there, see if I can reach out to them to kind of get a little bit more information, maybe do a one-off show of a preview from their side, because we don't face Loudoun a whole lot. But to me, Loudoun, 47.6 possession, attack wise, 3 goals, 9 shots, 4 on target. The red card happened in the 63rd minute, so obviously the last 30 minutes was probably heavily tilted towards Loudoun, and they picked up the late goal 90+4 to kind of make that 3-1, but it was a 2-1 game most of the time. So for San Antonio FC, it's going to be kind of a challenge standing wise. Week 1, RGV is about to tie Vegas 1-1. Monterey Bay, I know, Robert, you mentioned that one. Was it 5-3 for that here? Any thoughts on that match?
From what I could tell from the highlights, it just seemed like defense was optional. There were several goals that were low on the soft side, so it seems like, I think one of them had a really young keeper, if I'm not mistaken, too, that was playing. But I mean, Glito had a nice assist on one too. That's what I caught in the highlights. But like I said, it's really hard to gauge after one game. Like, is that a reflection of, that team being better than that, or it's just, a one game deal and they'll get better. There's so much changes and evolves through the season. So, because even on Loudoun is not your mom and dad's old Loudoun, where they just put players out there and they didn't care if they won. Now they're actually trying to, put out a winning product now they're going independent.
So, and I would have said Batista would have probably been the player of the week. However, Alex Dixon from Monterey Bay got a hat trick, and we know how if you score goals, typically you're the player of the week here, although he is a forward. He's an older forward making his side. I know Pittsburgh fans were a little sour on why they didn't keep him for that here or play him up top. But Monterey Bay's in first, based through here. San Antonio tied for first with +2 goal differential. Sacramento beat El Paso 1-0. In El Paso. Loyal beat Detroit City 1-0, and of course Detroit will say, "Hey, we hung with them like they did with us last year." For that here, RGV Vegas tied, Rising tied.
Well, they're still tied
Charleston.
right now. RGV and Vegas are still playing. They're they're at the end of the game. So
95.49.
There's a red card right now.
Oh yeah, so to number 88.
Yeah, got a red card.
Nice.
So, barring a last-minute, goal from RGV, which they have historically done against San Antonio, but not against Vegas. Rising drew. Switchbacks New Mexico have not played as of yet, which is kind of odd. Orange County lost to Louisville. Oakland Roots lost to us. Out east, only 2 winners, Loudoun and Louisville. Riverhounds and Legion drew. Indy, Tampa drew. Tulsa, Miami drew. And Charleston drew there. And then you had the 3 losses. So it's very, 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 very early. 33 games left for it here. So kind of stupid to go over the standings, but we are. And waiting to see how this Vegas RGV match holds off.
Is this the first time Loudoun United's been on top of the table for the East?
not sure. I know the USL show showed them some love early, and then when they got off to a good start, but I don't remember if they were in first place or just high up in the standing, and then Kaler and the USL show kind of backed off as they slid back down the table like they normally do. So we will see. So subs and subs. Although I don't like RGV's kits, the sponsorships at the belly. Blow the whistle.
Yeah, I think Vegas is going to take the loss on this one for sure for having a red card and also a collective red card for those jerseys. Good God.
Yeah.
So I think once this whistle goes, I think we're also going to call this show a night. Anybody have any final thoughts, Harry?
Want to thank all the supporters, the Crocketeers, FTC San Antonio, and there's your whistle, 1-1 draw, and 2-10 Alliance. It was a fun tailgate environment. I got there early, because AJ hung out with his friends, because it was their last match, and like I said here, hopefully we can do it again. It felt kind of pre-COVID as far as like the turnout for that here. A lot of there. So if you are part of a supporters group, reach out to us for your plans. I know the Crocketeers advertise quite a bit. I believe FTC is going to be advertising as well, but 210 with Stuart, and welcome back to San Antonio, Stuart. For that here, he had moved to Portland, came back looking all Portlandish with the jacket with
watch it
with
all the patches.
Patches all over them. So kudos to him. And like I said here, that's it for me. Robert, how about for you?
Yeah, my final things are just crowd. I mean, it was amazing, real positive. Keep it going. Just hopefully that attendance momentum just continues through the season. I mean, it was a great start. And we shout out one time, but Katie did a really good job on the broadcast.
Yes, Katie.
I was impressed. I was going to give her kudos for that. And the last thing that we didn't mention is the field. If you watched it, it was beautiful. Like, it was pristine, manicured. I mean, it looked nice. And then you don't realize how nice it is until you just pull up those Memphis. When you see that field, it's like, man, there's patches of dead. So, yeah, shout out to the crew and SAFC for putting on a good show. It was great.
Rafa?
Just like I said, great crowd, great environment last night. Hopefully we can keep it up like that at every home game. That's what our team needs. Having that big atmosphere, that's going to pump them up. Like I said, I think we have a good chance to repeat. We got the players, back. We got some new pieces, like I said, like with Batista. The surprise of the week. So looking forward to the next home game, and like I said, I think we'll take care of business in Loudoun, and we'll see where it goes from there.
And Rafa, if you want to talk about the bracketology on the 22nd
Sure.
for that here, and preview kind of the show for this week for SA Soccer Roundtable on Thursday.
Yeah, Thursday we'll have the final RPIs for the city of San Antonio. Also a recap from Friday's game. I was at the Battle of 3009. They're at Shirts between Clemens and also Steele. Congrats to Clemens on winning the District 27 6A boys title. Also, there was another couple of big games too. Lee versus Johnson. A couple of the girls' games. So we'll have that, and then yes, we'll have our bracketology coming up on the 22nd of March. We'll see. We'll break the record. The 6 hours. So it's co-hosted by us and the 50/50 podcast, which I'll be also on the 50/50 podcast on Wednesday. I'll have my final RPIs for the state. There were some upsets statewide. There's going to be a new number one. I can tell you that for the boys, and should be fun. As I said, it's going to get exciting. If you have a chance, playoffs coming up. Check out a playoff game. March 23rd is when the playoffs start. Support our San Antonio area teams, because I think we have a good shot of a couple of them maybe going to Georgetown and winning some state titles.
Royce, wrap it up.
All right, and my final thought is going to align perfectly with Robert's. Bring the noise, San Antonio. The crowd was great. The atmosphere was amazing. The mayor having the cup, a couple Spurs players were there with the starting 11. It was great. It was a perfect night. It's a great way to start the 2023 season. Let's keep it up. Hopefully, we have an equal crowd against Colorado Springs on the 25th, and we just keep that going. And real quick, as an update, RGV also got a red card in that melee. So, noted, hated RGV player Eric Pimentel got a red card. So, Vegas and RGV start the year off right by getting red cards. Congratulations to them in a 1-1 draw. SAFC 3 points. Don't care about El Paso. Don't care about RGV. San Antonio 3 points to start off the season. 3 goals. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it going to Loudoun. What's life without goals? Good night. We'll see y'all later.